Hi, everybody. Keisha Garrison here, bringing you a conversation with yet another Black girl who I think is pretty incredible. Now, today's conversation is with a very popular makeup artist here in the Pacific Northwest. Her name is Jaye Hill, and she runs the amazingly successful company Beauty by Jaye. But since I met her, she has gotten my whole face and spirit together for many a special occasion, and I just had to bring her into this space to share her with other people and give, share those vibes, share her energy. We had a really great conversation about her coming into her own as a makeup artist and an esthetician after some pretty tough life circumstances. We talked about her advice and practical tips for people who are looking to take a leap in their life and perhaps take a bet on themselves, make bigger and bigger moves. And we also, of course, since it's me, we talked about other Black women that she thinks we all need to support and know about. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Jaye Hill of Beauty by Jaye. Thank you so much, Jaye, for joining me.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
I'd love to learn a little bit more about your story before you became a makeup artist. Like what's the Jaye before the professional bio story?
A lot. A lot of the word that comes to mind for me is struggle. The saying, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. That definitely would be me. I was raised by my dad and with my brother and sister. My mom, I will be easy and say that she, I think, just made the decision that she didn't want a mom anymore at some point in my young life. So my dad took on the parenting role of raising 3 kids on his own, which had a lot of challenges, unfortunately for me. So it was a really rough childhood. I'll spare all the details, but it just wasn't pretty for myself and my siblings. And when I was about middle school, so 12, 13, I had made the decision that I needed to not be in that environment anymore. And one of my best friends, who I ended up finding out later on in life actually was family to me, they ended up taking me in, and I lived with them till about my sophomore year of high school, and then moved in with who I call my mom. She's been in my life since I was 7 years old. She was my big sister from the Big Sister, Big Brother program, but she had been in my life since the age of 7. So she ended up going through the whole foster care program to become my foster parent. And I lived with her from my sophomore year up until I was 19, and had to find my way through that journey.
That sounds like it would take an incredible amount of strength as a young person to say, I'm making a decision here about what I want.
Absolutely. I mean, just even now, at the age of 40, when I look back on it, you don't realize how strong you are at that young age, right? But when I look back on it, I'm like, wow, I really have overcome a lot. And not to compare my life to anyone else's, because I know there's people who definitely have had it worse than I did growing up, but I can only say and speak for myself. And I know that looking back, I was a very strong individual to have to make that decision, because I knew at a very young age how I was being raised wasn't normal, whatever normal really is.
It wasn't worth it for you.
It wasn't worth it. No.
Wow, I'm so happy to hear that you had people that you could go to, and that the whole Big Sisters, Big Brothers program. We didn't have that where I grew up, so I'm really I feel good for you that you at least had people that you could turn to.
Yeah, it was truly a blessing to have her, because at the time, having a big sister, you really only were scheduled to see them once a week, on the weekend. So our meetings were every Saturday. She would take me out, and we would do, little activities and stuff. She kind of was the first person to expose me to art and music and good food growing up. So to have had her from the age of 7 to now, and this is who I call my mom and who my kids know as their grandmother, is truly a blessing, paired with my uncle who took me in. He may he rest in peace, had a huge impact on my life. And he told me in high school that I cannot afford the luxury of a mediocre life. And I didn't understand that. Until I was older, but it always stuck with me. And I really have used that as the launching pad for where I am today, because I cannot afford the luxury to be mediocre. I have kids, they need to see me. They need to see me thrive.
Oh, that gives me chills just to hear that quote. That's going to be, I'm going to absolutely print that out and put that up in the house. I cannot afford the luxury of a mediocre life.
No.
So after you had you were getting your spirit fed and your belly fed with your with the good food. During that time, I know that around high school, I think you started doing makeup.
I did.
How did you, amidst the turmoil and all the things that you were going through, like in your normal life, how did you turn to that passion as a young person?
So my uncle, who I moved in with, he has 3 daughters and a son, and his oldest daughter, Felicia, she's my hairstylist. She's amazing. That's where she started her passion doing hair, was touching our hair, doing our hair finger waves, French rolls, and then was popping.
The free back in
yes, the free. But she also would play on our face. She would tweeze our eyebrows. So she was the first person who ever tweezed my eyebrows.
Hold on. She was in high school too?
Yes, ma'am. She was all of 15, 16 years old. Yes, and she was tweezing
the friends.
Yes, she was tweezing our brows, in the 90s when they was thin. So she was tweezing our brows, and I just remember looking at my face, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Like, I'm young, right? I'm in 8th grade, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, my eye, like your face," just to see how much it changed the shape of my face. I was like, "This is amazing," and so then, throughout her year in high school, she was doing makeup and hair for the girls at school, and her just beautiful makeup. And I would watch just in fascination. And that's where I fell in love with it, was in her bedroom.
Oh my goodness. So another one of your homegirls just sparked you, got the inspiration going. I love the idea that like another teenager inspired you to do things that you still do today.
Yeah.
How did you decide, I'm going to keep going? Like, it became more than a hobby at some point.
It did. So about 2008, because I was working actually corporate jobs. 2001, I had my oldest daughter. And so I'm working, doing that, I don't know what you want to call it, that corporate annoyance. doing the 9 to 5.
Corporate J.
Mom, doing all that. And then, but in between that, a friend of mine, we would play in makeup, and we would do it on like our friends for $50. Oh my gosh, to even think. But we were doing makeup. I took a course at the University of Washington. They kind of had a program where you could do like to take classes that interest you. So we took this class for like $150. It was a week-long course learning about makeup. And so I had done like a couple faces then, but it's so funny when I think about it, because there was a period of time, believe it or not, where putting on lashes was not my thing. So learning to do makeup, I would talk clients out of lashes, because I hadn't perfected it then. This was about 2009, 2010. It just was, I was scared. I was very timid doing makeup. But I would say around 2016, it got a little bit more serious for me. I was buying makeup. I was building this kit, and, I was doing makeup here and there, but it wasn't really, I did makeup for a friend of mine, for her very first video for her album. And that was like my first real paying like gig. And that, in that moment, I knew, I was like, what, if this is something you really want to do, you need to tap into it. Yeah. So 2012, I entertained going to Gary Manuel Aveda Institute, because a friend of mine at the time was attending their hair program. And I thought in my mind, oh, they're going to teach me how to do makeup. I learned real fast when I enrolled in my first week that it wasn't makeup, it was skincare. Seattle just really isn't the place for makeup. In my opinion, it's, obviously like LA, Atlanta, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
But so 2012, 2013, I was in my program and I started to build on that. I was doing more makeup for shoots for friends, and then having my daughter for like their little kiddie 8th grade dances and stuff. Or then high school, high school, I was doing it more and more and more, but I started to dabble more into the skincare aspect of it. I think that the makeup piece, it was obviously my first love. I think that with social media, a lot of the what do you call it, reality TV shows, makeup has a different life than from when I started in 2009. It was very simple, I did this class with Brandy Payne, and it was simple pretty is what she called it. And that, makeup should be clean makeup, but you should look like yourself. It should enhance the beauty you already have. And so that's always been my style of makeup. And it actually took me a long time to be okay with the style of makeup that I do. Everyone is different. I stay in my lane, but I struggled, believe it or not. I struggled. I never really wanted to market myself with makeup because I don't want to be compared to any other makeup artist in Seattle. If someone wants this tight cut crease and whatever, I'm like, that's really not my style of makeup. That's not my preference. It doesn't take away that it's beautiful, but that artistry isn't my form of artistry. But again, I think with social media and the pressures of that and wanting your makeup to look a certain way, or someone coming in with unrealistic expectations from social media or a photo, I want to look like this. And it's like, okay, well, do you have Botox? Do you have fillers? Do you have because we don't look like you do realize
you can do
you're not going to look like this photo. Do you realize it's Photoshop, it's airbrush, it's all these things. So I've definitely had this battle of, I feel like for a period of time, I fell out of love with it because of the unrealistic expectations that I think people had. But one of my good friends told me, your tribe will find you. And I feel like in the course of 7 years, my tribe has found me, and I am okay with the makeup artist that I am. I have definitely come to terms with, if someone is, seeking me out, it's because they have a certain look in mind that they're looking for, and they know that I can achieve that. I think that I'm the makeup artist that is known to be, I'm the natural makeup artist look. Like, of course you're going to do what your client is asking, but for the most part, my tribe of clientele, they know me as the makeup artist that's going to keep your natural. They're going to enhance what's naturally there. I am not big on contouring your nose because your nose is your nose, and I don't want. This is what you were blessed with. I don't like to give you these unrealistic faces, but that's just me. And again, it took me a really long time to be okay with that. And I'm in a good space mentally with who I am as a makeup artist.
I think that's so important. I think about it in terms of, I don't know if you follow Demetria Lucas, but she is a kind of entertainment journalist and commentator and author and whatnot. So she talks about relationships a lot. And so she describes romantic relationships from this place of, you got to find the lid for your pot. And a lot of the issues that people run into is that you're trying to make something fit when really you just need to find a different lid for your pot. Just get what works for you. It might not look like what's normal to some people. And so when I think about new people wanting to step into, say, a field of makeup artistry, that is very important. It's like you try to make yourself fit what someone else wants just because you think that's what's popular, or something that you think, this is the only way I'm going to get business, and you make yourself miserable real quick.
Right. And, like they say, the quote, comparison is the thief of joy. And I was doing a lot of comparing, and I really had to counsel myself and come to terms with, girl, you got to stop comparing yourself. You know, there is not a Jay out there. There's nobody who can do what you can do.
So I'm glad that you got out of that. How did you pull yourself out of that?
I think a lot of self-talk, and talking to my friends. I have a really great group of friends, and very supportive, and their advice and really just kind of pounding and drilling into me, like, stop caring. And once I stopped worrying about, because I would go to other makeup artist pages, and that was what I realized I was doing, was comparing myself to other makeup artists. I had to unfollow a lot of these influencers. That's what I was. I unfollowed a crap load of influencers because I was like, I don't do that. I don't like, I mean, it wasn't beneficial to me to look at their pages when I'm sitting there and I'm feeling down because I may not know how to do whatever it is that they're doing. And here they are with these millions of followers, these YouTube social media influencers. So it was pulling myself away from a lot of the social media influencers because it's not reality. Like I've invested a lot in myself and my business, and you're seeing their wins. You don't see their losses. Yeah. And you don't see how they really got to where they are, and I'm a realist. I'm very, very real about who I am in my channel. I mean, I share what I want to share, but I'm very honest about who I am. And so to me, it's not reality. Social media obviously is not, they're just clips, right? Yeah. You're not seeing their struggles. All you see is their wins. And I want to be relatable to people. And because I can't relate to these social media influencers when I don't see that they're struggling or they don't have the funds you don't see any of that.
All the background.
You don't see any of that. And I that's not relatable. That's not real life to me. So I had to definitely cut off a lot of the social media people that I was following, like a lot. I like to follow real human beings who aren't just glamorizing that they're these influencers. I like to hear the struggles. I like to see a little tear here and there.
Yes, showing real life. That curation of what these digital experiences are, making sure that it works for you and not against you. I think a lot more people could stand to do some of that.
Right.
I follow hummingbird hashtags, gemstones, inspirational people who are speaking positivity, educating me. So right. Just make this little thing work for me instead of against me.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you put your head down and focused on you, because it seems, from my perspective, as one of your very happy clients, I've been very happy to see things just your service list growing, your expertise spreading far and wide. Like I found out about you because of makeup, but you do a whole bunch of things now.
I do. And it has been a journey.
Tell us about the journey.
I mean, starting with doing makeup, yes, but I'm an esthetician. I have an aesthetic license. I am a licensed esthetician. And I'm like, how can I build on this more? Because I'm not doing makeup all the time. I'm not a traveling makeup artist. I'm not, nobody's flying me out. That's not my bread and butter. So I had decided that I was going to tap more into the skincare aspect of my license, mainly focusing on hair removal. So after I got my license, I took a sugaring, which is a form of hair removal, a sugaring certification, and got certified to do sugaring hair removal. So that, because I think people knew me as, oh yeah, Jay does makeup, but they forgot about that I actually do hair removal too. So I really wanted to start focusing on the hair removal aspect. But in that, clients were, like, oh, what do you do for your skincare? So people started asking more about skincare. But one of the things that I thought was, I don't want to do skincare. I didn't love it in high school. I didn't love it in my aesthetics program. It wasn't my favorite thing. I loved the hair removal portion of my education. But the more people kept asking me about their, my skincare routine and me asking them, what do they do? I was like, you know what? I need to do something to keep this simple for clients as far as skincare. So what can I do that's simple product wise? Something they can do at home that's easy. So I incorporated facials, and I was like, well, I love the skincare that I use. So why not incorporate this skincare in my business? So I decided to add facials to my menu. So not only was it makeup, it was sugaring hair removal and facials.
Growing and growing. That list.
And it has been, it was a journey because in 2014 I had a space in Columbia City, and that's when I had a shift. The sugaring hair removal piece, I mean, there truly were times where I wasn't booked at all. I mean, and that was really difficult for me, but it was also because of the space that I was in. I was sharing it with someone, and she was full spectrum. So she didn't do makeup, but she did skincare and hair removal. Me, I did makeup and hair removal, but our schedules kind of, we couldn't be in there at the same time. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. I'm paying this rent, but I can't be in here on these days because if I have a makeup client, they're disrupting her facial clients. Like something's got to give here. And I knew that I could be far more busier than I was. And so I had made the decision that I needed to leave, and I needed to get in my own space because I want to work on my own terms and in my own space. So I had made the leap to the Sola salons, which are the independent studios for stylists, nail techs, whatever. So that was super scary because
That's the moment when you take a leap.
It was very, very scary. Because it was expensive, and I was like, I don't have the clientele for this. Like, how am I going to maintain this weekly rent? Like, this is like, Lord, I don't know. But I truly did step out on faith with the support of my mom. Bless her little heart. And she supported me for about a year. And again, there were times where I would only have 4 clients a week. And I can't even pinpoint when things like took off, but I was there for 2 years. But in that 2 years, my clientele grew from being in that space and word of mouth, being in that solo space, because you're kind of self-marketing because you're in there with other hairstylists. And so that had a hand in my business growth. And so I was there for 2 years. And in that space, I can't remember. No, you had never been there because I've
been there. We do things on.
We do the thing. Yeah. So the space was 100 square feet. It was a beautiful space, but it was tiny. And trying to do facials, trying to do hair removal, and then having to transition to servicing a makeup client, it just got to be just too tight. It was too much. And I kind of toyed around with the idea of moving. Whole nother ball game of scary, because then we got the pandemic that hit. Yes. So it wasn't a really good time to move. But the growth of my business has been, literally, Keisha, when I think about it, I'm like, oh my, like, when did all this happen? Like,
you're the go-to for the people that I know. Whenever somebody asks for any of the things that you do, I see your name. You need to check with her, Beauty by Jay. And I'm like, yeah, everybody know. Everybody that I know knows.
It's been, yes, when you mentioning my service menu has grown so much. And I mean, I had a lot of support, people helping me and putting that together. And, what is it that you want to do? And even though I was telling myself, I don't want to do skincare, I don't want to do, because I was thinking about all the, oh gosh, it's going to cost this. It's, I was almost talking myself out of it. And it's like, now one of the biggest bookings that I get is, I wanted people to remember that I did not just makeup, but other services. And people now know that I do these other services, and I am extremely booked. And blessed and thankful for it.
Yes. I mean, if I may just take a moment to just give you some flowers right now, I think that there's this combination of you're good at what you do. First of all, it's like, okay, that's already, you got to be able to do that to keep people coming back. But it's more than just your technical skill. You have also a professionalism that is clear. It's not wishy-washy in any way. It's very much like, this is how you procure time with me, and you can proceed. Like, even that, just working with people in the beauty industry is just so refreshing to be like, all right, this is how this works. And she's just really clear about it, very like straightforward. But then when the moments are there, when you're with your clients, it's just such a, it's a, it's a filling experience. It feels good to be in your company. You can tell that you like what you're doing. I can tell that you are happy to be living your dream, if you will, but it just feels really good to spend that time with you. And so when I think about, okay, I want to work with Jay, it's so much more than, well, first of all, I know I'm going to look fly, but I'm also going to feel so good, not just about how I look, but about the interaction that just happened between us. Some people will get you right, get you looking good, but you just get up from a chair for like a hairstylist or somebody and just like, well, whew, that was a journey emotionally, because they made me feel like I am not a smart human being, or like whatever it is. Like, there's some people who can really like put you in not the right mindset
Mm-hmm.
after you've been is sitting in their service. So I try to find professionals, especially when you're touching people's bodies, like who the energy is right. And
Absolutely.
you bring energy with you that is just like, I be feeling like I can do anything after you leave me.
And that is so important to me. I want to be able to give back in a way that was given to me, being taken in by my mom, at a young age, and how I don't know what my life path would have been like if I didn't have those two very influential people scoop me up. I don't know. And so I, know at this time, can I take in a kid and give back in that way? No, but this is my way of, I am not no therapist, but let me just say that when my clients come to me, as much as they tell me that how I make them feel, they're counseling me too. It is the most amazing thing to hear other people's stories, because when you're listening to people, we all go through the same stuff. Okay. But it shows up very different. Yeah. For all of us. Sometimes it's similar, but it shows up. I mean, literally listen to somebody telling me something, something personal. And I'm like, oh my God, I dealt with the same thing. Now I will say, you can't share everything with everybody, but with my clients, it's an energy and a vibe thing. And I have been so fortunate. Everyone that has graced my space and continues to grace my space, I feel like you're not here just because. There's a reason why you chose me and why you continue to choose me. And we're getting something from each other. I've had, trust me, cry sessions with my clients. Okay. We have had moments because you just never know. Like, it is, I'm big on somebody's spirit and their vibe, because don't let me get somebody in my space. I'm gonna sage you right after, because I don't know what kind of spirit you bring in here. So I want people to feel good. And if that is via a facial or just a conversation, with them, or a lot of them will text me. I who doesn't want to feel good? And I want to be able to pour into others the ways I was poured into. And if that, like I said, if that means just laying on this table for an hour, hair removal isn't the most comfortable, but that's a very intimate space, right, for clients to be in and to be trusted that way. I want my clients to know that they can trust me, and I make it very clear in my space, what's discussed in my four walls stays in these four walls. I want that for my clients. I want my clients to leave feeling good. That's like the best compliment, is when they get up off that table and like, ooh, girl, just yesterday, one of my clients, she said, girl, I feel like a whole new woman. And that is like the best feeling to me. And it's a humble brag, because I want to make people feel good. I do. It makes me feel good.
Yes. Oh, I love it so much. In the spirit of giving back then. So as I listen to your story, even something as small as, I didn't used to want to put lashes on people, and now you can lash somebody's hand, your eyes closed probably. But when I think about this, a lot of self-growth and self-challenging, I hear in those stories, you pushing yourself to do things that you've never done before, and that you making that leap to go get the studio and really invest in yourself. What would you say to someone else in any industry who feels like maybe it's time for me to take a leap and like have some faith in myself or bet on myself?
Trust the process and quiet the noise. Self-doubt can definitely steer you on another path of like, I don't want to do this, but definitely believe in yourself and trust the process. Research, obviously, whatever it is that you are looking to do, research that line of talent, art, whatever it is that you're trying to tap into, and to keep a good core group of friends. Talk to, maybe possibly talking to other business professionals. I still do it to this day. Someone once told me, once you think you know everything, you're never going to continue to learn. You should always be learning. So just continuing to tap into your craft, your talent, whatever that may be. But definitely quiet the noise, because you're going to have naysayers. You are, and sometimes it can be the people closest to you. But
people don't see that coming sometimes. They might share
yeah,
a dream, and people who are really close to them maybe don't understand. They don't have the context.
right.
They don't understand enough to be in your corner properly. I think that sometimes people they've never tried things themselves that you're trying to do. They might be unfamiliar. They don't have context, or whatever their story is. They have their own story and their own experience, and some people that love you very much can't show up for you as a supporter. And in that case, it's very important to find other people who understand what you're trying to do and can be in your corner, because some people look really close to them and then they don't find any support, and then they let that discourage them.
Yeah, absolutely. They let that be the reason, because they feel like their family or friends should be the one supporting them. And it's like, you might, the other thing I was going to say was writing things down.
Yes.
Writing things down so you can visually see what it is, and hold yourself accountable. You can't have other people hold you accountable. It's great. You can, yes, ping things off your friends, whatnot, but you are responsible for you. So if there's something that you are thinking about doing, keep it to yourself until you really have a plan.
But it those real G's to move in silence, huh?
I do think that you should move in silence until you're really ready, because again, you will have people. That's why I say quiet the noise, because you will have people who, oh girl, are you ready for that? You have the people that are going to doubt you. So writing things down, believing in yourself, researching whatever it is that you're interested in trying to put out there as an entrepreneur or whatnot, and just do it. Like, there is no better time than now. And COVID has been crazy, but one of the things that I have noticed is that people have tapped into their entrepreneurial journeys. Like, there are people who are doing it.
So true.
Okay. Things that they did not think they were going to do, or they couldn't do, and they've been doing it and excelling in it. So in my head, I'm like, they just did that. We say that, oh, you did that. Yes, they did. Yeah. My advice is just do it. Like, Nike did something with that, huh?
They did. Just do it. Sometimes if I don't want to quite announce things to people who are close to me yet, because I don't want to keep hearing about it until I feel like I know what step I want to take, I'll tell a complete stranger. Like, I'll be in the grocery store, or maybe I have an appointment with a doctor or something, and I'll tell them something just to hear myself say it and feel myself say it, so I can try to believe it. When I know, okay, I'm not going to see this person again, but at least I practice kind of like trying to own this thing that I'm trying to do. So I would say that's a part of my move in silence until you kind of have your plan together. I do sometimes. I'm one of those people who needs to make it sound real. I need to say it. And so I find myself a stranger in the street.
Because you ain't even gonna see them. What they gonna say? Nothing.
But like, their reaction in the moment, usually strangers don't have enough context to dissuade you. They'll probably be like, oh my goodness, congratulations.
Right.
Like, okay. You've mentioned people who supported you in your life, but who are some other Black women or girls who you know are doing the thing that you would like anyone who's seeing this video to support and lean into?
She's actually a client of mine, but even just her story, I think is amazing to be able, she tapped into the CMOS life, and she's doing it. Dannett Cage, and she is Beyond Body. Beyond Body is her company, and she's doing it. She is doing it. When she first came to me, she was very new at it. She was still at a company that she'd been at for, I think, 10 or 11 years. Mm-hmm. She took that leap of faith and quit her job. And when I tell you that first of all, the product is amazing. Okay. I'm a texture person, and she sells this CMOS lemonade that is just phenomenal. Different flavors, amazing stuff. I mean, her products are amazing, and I'm really excited for her in this journey. She's doing very well. She clearly put that fear aside. I mean, she is busy, and she does ship her products. She has a pickup option as well, but her products speak for themselves. And I mean, it's one of those, you got to try it to even just believe what I'm saying. But Dannett, she's just as amazing, and to see another Black woman doing amazing things. Shoot, I feel like I got a list of people that I got to shoot to you.
I mean, you can let me get greedy. Give me another, if you want to give me another one, because I'll check her out.
I have another makeup artist. She's phenomenal. Her name is Neikia Johnson, and her company is Burton Beauty. She has amazing lashes. Her artistry is just ridiculous. She's amazing. But her lashes, she has a lash line that I absolutely love. They're my favorites. I am biased. But I love that her lashes are named after women in her life. I think that is so dope. Yes. Her lashes are amazing, and I think everybody should own a pair.
I love that you shouted out another makeup artist, because that is something that I do notice in the online space when people are asking for recommendations. I see you and other women referring each other when you're busy. Absolutely. Oh, I can't take that service, but you know who might be good for you. And it's like this network of sisterhood.
Absolutely.
It's like, we're gonna need all the faces covered, everyone. There's enough of us to go around.
Absolutely. And that just to go rewind just for a second, that's another thing is, it's okay to support other people that are in the same industry. There is enough room for all of us, okay? Enough room. And Neikia is a phenomenal makeup artist, and absolutely, you're dang right. If I can't service a client, I will tap into her. And actually, I have a running list of makeup artists. I'm like, hey, ladies, I'm unavailable. It's like our little group that we ping things off of each other. So, I absolutely am supportive. Why wouldn't I support another Black woman who's out here doing it? I'm not comparing myself to her. She doesn't compare herself to me. She's amazing. She does the same to me. So, and that's how you build, right? That's how you build. You eat, I eat. That's the energy I'm on.
That's why you stay winning. Oh, I love it. I love it. So how can people find you? Where do people go to look at your beautiful long list of services and
in my craziness on social media? Because hey, I am my authentic self. Okay. I am me. On Instagram, I can be found at beauty_by_JAYE. Same on Facebook as well. But if you want to email me, it's info@beautybyj.com. But that's the best way to contact me is via email, social media too. But I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little sketch on the DM sometimes. I try my best to respond, but I'm quicker to respond via email or text. But yeah, you can find me on those two platforms.
Thank you so much for joining me. Well, first of all, thank you so much for being you, for being amazing at your craft, and for being a beautiful person that people want to be around while they are trying to get ready for special moments in their lives.
Thank you.
It's an intimate, it's a sacred space to be with somebody when they're trying to just like take themselves through even a tiny transformation. So I love that you're out here spreading positivity and using all the strength that you've garnered in your journey to give back into the world. So
thank you, Keisha, for having me and even thinking of me.
You're a woman I admire.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.